What's up, Claudia? How you doing?
Doing great. So
Yeah.
excited for that today.
Yeah, are you nervous?
No, I'm excited.
It's crazy, right? We had the last tattoo session, and how long did we tattoo you for? We tattooed you for 2 days, and it was, what, how many hours do you think?
I think it was like 14 hours.
Yeah, 14. Was it hard? Because I know you were worried about how long it was going to take and stuff.
I was a little sick, so I was a little worried, but it
Yeah.
was good. And I never tattooed for more than 4 hours in the past.
Yeah, I remember you telling me you were worried about getting tattooed longer than 4 hours, but you were a champ, man. You did badass. You
Yeah.
even,
Well,
you wanted
look
to
at
go
her.
longer.
Of course she is.
But his hands are light too, like he knows what he's doing. It wasn't very painful, so
Like a
it was,
butterfly.
It was easier, way easier.
No, that's cool. So maybe we can get a brief history on you, like maybe for anybody that's listening. So who are you? Where are you from? And yeah.
What's your story?
So, my name is Claudia Gadelha. I'm 30 years old. I'm from Brazil. I'm from a little town in the northeast of Brazil, close to the Amazon. I grew up in a very traditional family, but I was born with that free spirit. I wanted to do crazy things and go out and like explore the world. Then my family just didn't accept the way I was, and so I was kind of like a bad kid because
Yeah.
of that,
Yeah, you were telling me how you were knocking dudes out in Brazil.
Yeah,
the
I
last
was.
sitting.
I used to beat boys in school, and people were
From how old? Like, do you remember the first time you ever beat a boy up?
like 8, 9 years old.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Why? Can I ask why?
That time,
Yeah.
nobody would fuck with me.
Oh,
Nobody
no
would
shit.
like I was the bad kid from school, and
Yeah.
like every time I walked into the school, everybody would respect me because I was like mean and
For sure.
and mad. So like
I mean, you told me you were gonna knock me out last sitting, so I mean, I get it.
I just picture her 8-year-old her trying
Yeah.
to like knock you
Dude,
out.
8-year-old her would probably kick my ass. That's what's fucking crazy.
so like some boys in school would just like try to be macho and try to like be macho to me, and I would be like, let's go, and I would just beat them up.
No shit.
Yeah. So
So you had a reputation back in Brazil.
yes, I did.
But then
Growing
that brings up other fights, right? Like then other people want to fight you, or is it more like people just don't want to mess with you?
people didn't want to mess with me
okay.
because I started picking up chairs and
Oh
like
shit!
Yeah,
going crazy.
Damn, that shit's
ECW.
like wrestling. That's what you're gonna be doing next, huh? That's cool.
But that's the thing. Like my family never accepted the way I was, and I wanted to go out and do not crazy things, but I wanted to play sports. And for my mom and my dad, it was the wrong thing. Like
Yeah.
women shouldn't play sports
Yeah.
where I'm from when I was growing up.
I mean, that's
So-
kind of like the Latin way, right? Like women are kind of put in their place, and that's kind of
Yeah.
like, yeah, that's pretty crazy. And so you were breaking the mold.
So I was like,
Yeah.
no, I don't accept that. I want to go and I want to do jiu-jitsu. I want to do capoeira. I want to do the things I feel like I should be doing. I played like even soccer. I wanted to play soccer in school, and like it was not for the girls, it was for the boys. I was like, I'm going to do it. So I grew up that way.
Yeah.
And,
So you were always athletic.
yeah,
Okay.
like naturally I just wanted to do things like that, and my family wouldn't accept.
Yeah.
And when I was 14 years old, I started training jiu-jitsu
Yeah.
back where I'm from, and my mom didn't accept it. So I would jump the wall in my school, skip school, and go train.
Really?
Yeah,
And how did you stay away from your mom catching you?
Well, she she catch me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Many times?
Yeah, and then like she would have like tried to beat me up. She wouldn't accept the way I was and the way I wanted to do things. So I left. So
Yeah.
my father's family, it's from another city, like 4 hours away from where I'm from, and my father has 9 brothers and 3 sisters.
Yes.
So I left to that city and I went to live with one of my aunts.
Oh, okay.
Right, and so that's when I really start like training, and I knew there was something that I had a lot of potential. So I said, that's what I want to do. Like since I was 15 years old, I knew that was what I wanted to do in life.
Oh,
right?
okay. Wow.
So I trained in this city for 3 years, and when I was 18 years old.
And what city was this?
Natal.
Okay. How far was that from the city that you started at?
like 4 hours, a
Okay.
4 hour drive.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah. So after that, when I was 18 years old, I decided I wanted to become a professional fighter. So I moved to Rio de Janeiro, which is a crazy city,
Yeah.
right? A lot of favelas.
For
You know
sure.
about the favelas?
Yeah, of course,
Yeah.
man. You know what I've heard. I mean, I've never been to Brazil. I actually have a huge following in Brazil, which is amazing, and I'd like to make it down there someday. But yeah, you know, I've had a couple of friends out there, and you know, they were sketchy. Like they said, they was dangerous, you know, and that they felt a little bit uneasy. You know, I had a friend go out there for New Year's, and he went with his girlfriend, and he said it was a great time, like amazing, but he definitely felt like nervous some of the times. You know, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
it's-
going to Brazil and seeing the favelas like on the side of the hill and having then the pristine beaches of like Copacabana
It's
like
beautiful.
right next to it. So
Yeah, it's beautiful, but it's dangerous up there. You know, there's only one way up, and this the only way you get down to the street. So like that's
wow.
where the drug dealers sell a lot of drugs and a lot of crime up there.
Yeah.
But when I decided to move to Rio, I had no money. I was broke. I was like, but this is what I want to do in life, right?
Yeah.
So I moved to Rio when I was 18 years old, and I went to live in a favela.
Oh
So
wow. So you lived in the favelas.
Yeah.
Wow.
so, Jose Aldo, one of the greatest fighters
badass.
ever, I went to his gym, and by this time we had 16 fighters in the UFC.
Okay.
Like the training out there was like very, very hard, very competitive. We had like, great fighters in there, and I knew if I wanted to get somewhere in life when it comes to fights, I would have to go to that place. So that's where I went. I didn't even have money to pay the gym. I sat for like an hour waiting for the owner to ask him to train in his gym.
Wow.
And he was like, "Are you crazy? You really from the Northeast and you
Well,
flew
yeah.
all the way here to become a fighter?" And remember, I was 18 years old. Women was
there
not in
wasn't
the
many,
UFC.
Yeah, so there wasn't
No.
even like that part of it. Was
No.
there a lot of women training at the time?
No.
Wow.
I was the only girl in the gym, and he was like, "What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like, are you crazy?" I was like, "No, I want to become a fighter." So I had to fight with a lot of bigger girls,
Yeah.
and like I had to break down how the sport was gonna be, and I was part, of how the sport is today because I'm one of the pioneers.
Yeah.
You know,
You're
I
fucking
mean,
badass. That's crazy.
so I had to live in the favelas because I had no money to pay for rent, and over there was like $50
Yeah.
to pay for rent up there,
Wow.
but it's dangerous. You see a lot of crime, and you have to go upstairs.
And I
for,
bet
like-
you've seen a lot of bad stuff out there, huh?
Yeah, I seen
Yeah.
a lot of bad stuff.
Were you ever scared out there?
I was first because I was very surprised with
Yeah.
like I would open my door and I see guys with guns and running around and selling drugs in front of me, and I'd never seen that before in my
Yeah,
life. So
yeah.
I was like a little surprised, but then I got used to it.
Of course. Yeah, I mean, it's like living in any hood, right? Like you got to just get used to that, and you become numb to it, and you just got to know where not to go and what time not to go. So, yeah, I'm sure that that was crazy time for you.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
crazy. And like, I also missed my family, and they were all the way back in the Northeast, and I was like for years in Rio, and I couldn't go back home because I had no money for it. But I knew what I wanted. That was my drive. That was my motivation. Like, I'm going to make this happen. I'm going to become a badass fighter, and I'm going to take care of my family. I'm going to go back home and take care of them, and that was my motivation. It was so hard to live in Rio, miss my family,
Yeah.
be like a 18-year-old girl by myself
Yeah.
in a big city that I was not used to it, but I knew what I wanted.
Yeah.
And I think that's all you need
Yeah.
to succeed in life. You're gonna know what you want to be motivated and keep working hard.
A dream. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's crazy because, I mean, there was no professional fighters that were women at the time, right?
No.
So you just had this dream that was in you, and you just knew that one day there was going to be professional women that fight, right?
Yeah, I remember
cool.
like even the guys on that gym, like today they'll know, but they won't say. But I remember like I would get to the gym and they wouldn't want to train with me
Yeah.
or want to help me because they thought I wasn't gonna succeed, right?
Yeah.
But I would just sitting there and wait for somebody to help me out. I would watch. If nobody wanted to train with me, I would just watch a lot of videos and try to learn and take notes and try to learn.
Yeah.
That's how I did for like the first year, and then right when I was almost 19 years old, I took a fight.
Yeah.
And I didn't go. I went pro all the way right away. I didn't go amateur. I went
amateur.
pro.
Wow. So you
So-
went straight to pro.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. So like this girl, she was a Brazilian Jiu Jitsu black belt, and she wanted to fight MMA. It was her first fight. I was a Brazilian Jiu Jitsu blue belt, world champion already. But I was like, I'm gonna fight her. You know,
Yeah,
she's
yeah.
the only one.
Yeah, you stepped up.
There's only
You stepped
one
up.
option.
You
She's
stepped
the
up.
only option.
Yeah.
So
But you already liked fighting, so it's like, fuck it.
yeah, I really want to do this. She wants to fight. I'm here. So I prepared for 2 months.
Yeah.
I didn't know any boxing, you know, or like just the street fights, the fights
Yeah.
in school and
Yeah.
things like that. But I prepared for 2 months, and I went in there, and I submitted this girl in 17 seconds.
Oh, no shit. Like
Yeah.
Mike Tyson over
What?
here.
And she was a
fucking people up.
black belt. I was like, okay, that's what I really want to do in life.
That's
Right.
sick. That's
You
great.
just probably just like went through the roof after that.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, that was crazy.
Wow.
So like things started happening to me when I had like 5 fights, right? I
Yeah.
started making money and going back home to
For
see
sure.
my family and things like that.
And what did your parents think then?
They still like I know right now my mother respects what I do, but
Yeah.
she still want me to do something else.
Yeah, yeah,
You
of
know,
course.
because like she's very traditional, and the good thing about it, it's because she changed it a lot because of me, because the way I decided and I chose to live my life.
Yeah.
She became a better person.
For sure.
She respects more. She respects people more. She changed it a lot
Yeah.
because of me, and that makes me very happy.
Yeah.
But back in the day, they were crazy. They were like, "No, she's crazy." Just so you know, my mom didn't talk to me for 2 years because she didn't accept what I was doing.
Oh, wow.
I was like, I'm like,
That
my
must have been hard.
motivation was
Yeah.
to show her that I was not doing nothing wrong,
Yeah.
and I just wanted to succeed in life, and I knew I had potential to do that, and I was gonna do that. So now she respects me a lot. My family respects me a lot.
Of course, who doesn't? I mean, everyone's scared of you. They're going to get knocked out if they don't, right?
I hope the tattoo doesn't hurt today.
Oh, man. Oh, fuck.
pressure's
Again.
on,
Again.
Nikko.
Look at her. She's full of threats all the time. This one's an animal.
I'll sit back and
Oh,
watch.
man. No way, dude.
We actually starting a competition here because
no.
I'm
Nah,
man.
man.
You Instagram
No.
stories.
Don't be
And
putting me
man,
on.
you
You're going to put
burning
me
a
on
lot.
blast?
You burning a lot of calories.
It's because my heart's beating so fast. It's about to have a heart attack. You know what I mean? It's about to die. You know?
Do you think that you could keep up with her in a workout?
Fuck no. But you know what? That's something we should do. I'm gonna come to
should do.
Vegas. I'm coming to Vegas in the middle of this month. I'm gonna have you work me out so that way you could see like. You
That'd
know,
be good.
You can kill me.
I can take
Yeah.
you to the
You
UFC
just want to
Performance
choke.
Institute.
You just want to choke me
No.
out the way you choked out Shaq. That's what it is.
That was fun. That
You
was
choked
fun.
out Shaq?
Yeah, that was fun. I had a lot of fun.
Man,
with
you
it.
got to check this video out. If you want, you can pull it up, Nicole. Can you find it on online?
I think you can.
Oh fuck, man, the way she goes. Okay, so is this a story you can tell?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So yeah, let's hear this story. I want to hear this story about Shaq because when I tattooed you, you know, you told me this little crazy story and it was really interesting. So.
All right, so Wednesdays is usually my rest day, right?
Yeah.
So I was in the UFC Performance Institute. I was in the jacuzzi, like taking my time, resting.
Yeah,
and
I
then,
seen that with the brand new tattoo in the jacuzzi.
No, not the
Okay, sorry to interrupt. Just giving you a little shit. It's just the tattoo in me. Go ahead. Here, let's watch this, and then you can explain.
Yeah.
Okay, first of all, he's massive.
He's 400 pounds.
You're so tiny.
I'm
on
130.
him.
He's like 3 times bigger
What
than
the
me.
fuck?
But
What the fuck? Dude, he must have been so bummed. Look at how she runs. It's so scary.
Yeah, it's you're there.
Yeah.
Like
I don't even think he took a breath in. He didn't even know what happened.
so like Dana came to me on the jacuzzi and he was like, Claudia, I want you to be part of this. I want you to do this for me. I was like, what? I'm just resting. Let me rest. And he was like, oh no, this guy's here. I was like, what guy? And he was like, oh, listen, he's 400 pounds. He's old. He has bad knees.
Oh, poor Shaq. We got love for you, Shaq.
But I'll give you $2,500 to choke out this guy. And I was like, who is this
You know
guy?
what's fucking crazy is that you didn't even skip a beat. You're like, fuck yeah, I'll do that.
Oh,
She
yeah.
got out of that jacuzzi in a heartbeat. She's like, fuck this.
Remember, that's how I started in my life. I said, I'm going to make it happen,
Yeah,
you know?
so you choked this guy out, Shaquille O'Neal.
Yeah, choke
And,
Shaquille O'Neal
yeah,
out.
and so what happened? He didn't know you were gonna get him, right?
Well, like, Dana talked to him about it. So we met before.
Okay.
And he was like giving me shit. Oh,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
won't choke me out. I was like, all right. I got the technique. You got the
Yeah.
size. Let's
Oh,
see.
yeah.
So
He actually challenged you.
yeah, he did. He
Oh,
was like,
then
let's
yeah,
go.
I mean, he deserved it.
So it's in his podcast. This video is in his podcast.
Oh, in Shaquille's.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, badass, man.
So I don't think he really believed it. I
Yeah.
think he was just like giving me shit, and
sure.
he didn't know that was gonna happen.
He didn't
But-
know you had $2,500
Right,
in your pocket.
right. Dana told me, hey, 2,500. I was like, all right.
No wonder he
I'm
did it for
in.
his podcast, man. That's crazy. I'm gonna have to check that out because, dude, for you, that video, like the first time I watched it, I was like, wow, she moved like lightning.
He
He
didn't
didn't even know.
He didn't know I was
Nah,
gonna do that.
he didn't know.
Yeah, so I went in there and
You think?
checked him
Okay,
out.
let's ask this question though. Do you think you could have taken him when he was at the height of his like athletic peak?
Well,
For sure, I think you
I
could.
think
I think
like
so,
if
too.
I take because like this position, the rear naked
Yeah,
choke is
yeah.
my specialty.
Oh, okay.
When I get in there, like a lot of men tap to me. In
For
there.
sure. I believe it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
So-
you probably have smaller arms too, so it's like less, you know, yeah, it's different.
It's hard.
Yeah.
You know, it takes 15 seconds for you to
yeah,
sleep.
go to sleep.
Yeah.
That's cool. You like that? You like putting people to
Yeah.
sleep?
When's the first time that you put someone to sleep?
Oh, probably when I started like blue, purple belt. You know,
Did,
'cause
did you get put to sleep too in the beginning right there?
I did 2 times, and I hate those guys.
No,
I still hate them. I'm gonna like, yeah, 2 times.
One day you'll
I
have
remember
revenge.
Yeah.
You remember what?
I still remember the 2 times
yeah.
I got put to sleep. Yeah.
Crazy. That's crazy. So what's in your plans now? Like now that so you've come so far, you know, you've come from Brazil, which is like such a rags to riches story. You know, you were living, you know, in the favelas and you know, you come to America. So when did that transition happen?
2 years ago, I started to think that the way we were training in Brazil was a little rougher
Okay.
than the people do here in America. I started coming here to train, and I was like, wow, there is easier ways to do this.
Yeah.
And I would go back to Brazil, and we would spar every day. I would see people getting knocked out in the
Yeah.
gym every day. I had a lot of injuries, and I was
In
like,
Brazil.
yeah,
Oh, okay.
back
okay.
in Brazil.
Yeah.
Because it was like past 8 years, and we still doing the same thing that we were doing when I started. And
Yeah.
I was like, the sport is changing, the sport is evolving,
Yeah.
but I don't feel like we're doing nothing different
Yeah.
than we did when we started. We shouldn't be training that way.
There was like the evolution wasn't there.
Exactly. And then I would come here and see you guys like with the technology, with the rest. We wouldn't rest in Brazil. It was
Yeah.
like every day, you know, a
Yeah.
grind every day. We didn't know about rest. We didn't know about like taking care of your injuries and things like that. And when I started coming here, I started to see all this, and I was like, all right, so I'm going to go back home and tell my friends and my teammates that I've been
For sure.
with for so long that we need to change.
Yeah.
But then the macho thing again. They were
Yeah, I
like,
mean, ego, you know, I mean, it's with anybody, you know, women, men, whoever, you know, you tell somebody they need to change and their ego gets involved. And so then they're like, fuck that, you know? And so, yeah, that's hard.
that's exactly what happened. So when I went back and tried to talk to them about that, they told me, well, things are that way since you got here. We're not changing anything now.
Train smarter, right? Is basically what it is. Is that what you think? It's like more training where less injuries. So, I mean, that's better for when you fight, right?
Yeah, and like we already do such of a rough sport, you know.
Yeah, of
like
course.
we don't need to knock each other out.
Yeah, every
every
day.
day.
Yeah, that's fucking
Like-
that's fucking crazy.
Yeah, and I was getting older, watching everybody getting older, and we would like get hurt.
Yeah.
It was so hard. Training over there was hard, but it made me tough.
It made you who
know?
you are
It made
today,
me
for
tough,
sure.
of course. Like I'm very thankful for that, and all the technique I learned in there and everything. I became a black belt in Brazil, and I'm very happy
For sure.
for everything I learned in there. I'm very thankful, but it had to change.
Yeah.
You know, and once they didn't want to change, I said, all right, I'm out of here. So I decided to come to America, and I went to New Jersey. But you know,
How long were you in Jersey for?
I was for a little bit because I don't know. I don't like the cold.
Yeah, I mean Nicole's from the East Coast,
Yeah,
so
I
like
was
Cold.
in Jersey. Oh yeah, I moved out here 5 years ago because I could not take the cold. And New Jersey, New York, and those winters are brutal.
So imagine that I lived in Rio for 10 years. You know, the tropical. You know, like
yeah, beautiful, like paradise.
so beautiful.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
like the coldest it gets over there, it's like 75.
Wow.
So I was like, what am I doing in New
Yeah.
Jersey? Like, I gotta go somewhere
Everyone
else.
asks that.
Yeah, I think the same thing. I mean, you know, one of the first tattoo conventions I ever did was in Secaucus, New Jersey, and it was the biggest tattoo show on earth. And the guy actually owns shops in Vegas now, where you live now. But yeah, man, New Jersey was it's a trippy place.
It's
you know?
hard, and you have to
Yeah.
deal with the snow, and I didn't known about this,
Yeah.
you know. So and then I lived in New Jersey for like 6 months, and
Okay.
then I went
That's
to
not too bad.
But how did you end up there? Like, why? Jersey?
Yeah, what
Did
draw you
know
there?
somebody?
coaches and friends that
Okay.
I knew
Yeah.
through MMA. So
Yeah.
I ended up out
So
there.
so they lied to you. They were like, this place is
Yeah.
great.
It's great. And the summer is great, though. I love the summer out there.
I mean, New York City, New York City's the best, man. I
It
love New
is.
York. You know, I used to think when I was younger I could live there, but now that I'm older and I'm just like in this small town now, I realize that like I'm just like a fucking desert rat, and like, you know, I'm not a city rat. So
But you
know.
don't like the cold, or you just don't
No,
like...
I don't like the cold. I mean, it's fucking cold here right now. Like it's
Yeah, it's
freezing
like
in the
40.
desert. Yeah, no, it was like 30, 31, 30 the other day. So, I mean, it gets cold. So, yeah, I
it's
could
cold.
see. I've been to New York a couple times when it's been like New Jersey when it snows, and it's hard. You
It
know?
is,
Yeah.
especially for a jungle kid from Brazil.
Yeah, for sure,
Right?
for sure.
Jungle kid and desert rat.
Yeah.
What an odd pair, right? To like meet, you know? So yeah, for sure.
And then after that, I went to Albuquerque
Yeah.
because of the altitude,
Yeah.
right? So when
How high is the altitude there? Do you know?
Some places it's almost 10,000.
Oh wow. Okay,
Yeah.
so that's how you were training. Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's great.
That's really good for your
Cardio.
Like, cardio. Yeah,
it's
lungs
great.
and everything. That's
And
good.
also Jackson Wing kids over there. John
Okay.
Jones, Holly Holm, one of the best
Yeah,
MMA
yeah.
teams are over there. So I moved there for a little bit. Training was great,
Yeah.
but I was depressed. I was like, oh my God, the dream city, right?
Yeah.
Beautiful, and
Yeah.
like the weather is nice.
sure.
To New Jersey, that I can't deal with the cold.
Yeah.
To Albuquerque, that I have great training, but people are not happy here. What's
Yeah,
wrong with
yeah.
these people? Like, the place is dark,
Yeah.
and like I said, I had great training, but I had no friends. Nobody talked to me. I was like, all right, I'm out of here.
Yeah, for sure.
And then I saw that the UFC opened the UFC Performance Institute in Vegas,
Yes.
right? They give us like a great facility with everything we need
Yeah.
to become a...
You were telling me about it. It sounded pretty amazing. Like they had like you were saying they have all kinds of stuff, everything for like healing and training and like doctors and everything on staff, right? Or
Yeah.
you know, everybody there so that way you can become the best athlete you can become. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, they really like spending the money to bring the fighters to the next level,
Wow.
you know, with the technology,
Yeah.
doctors, like the staff, it's crazy. They got the best physical therapists of the
Yeah.
country, the best strength and conditioning coach of
That's
the country. Like they brought people from Russia, from
everywhere, yeah.
Europe. Like they brought people from a lot of places.
That's really
and they have a
cool.
great staff in there. So when I heard about it, I was like, I guess
Do
I'm
you
outta
have
here.
to be accepted into it, or can you?
You have to be
do
a
you-
pro, I think, right?
You have to be in the roster. So if you're a UFC fighter, if you want, we have now 600 fighters in our roster, and we all can use the facility.
Yeah, that's amazing.
It's not for like it's not for normal people. You can't just go there and get a membership and train. It's just for the professional.
Yeah.
At least for the UFC.
That's crazy. That's cool. I mean, to think about, you know, the UFC from where it started. I mean, I used to watch the UFC when like Tank Abbott was fighting and like, you know, Hoist Gracie and like all these people in the very beginning, like the first UFCs, and to see how far like athletes have come is really amazing to see this transition, you know, and you guys are like athletes, like full on athletes.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's like strategic and it's really crazy to watch.
You remember when it was like styles? It was like a fight of styles. Would be like a Muay Thai fighter against a Jiu Jitsu fighter.
Exactly.
Remember that?
Yes.
Like a fight of styles, right?
Yep.
So nowadays,
it's called
everybody's-
MMA.
yeah.
So it's mixed martial arts. It's everything. Like it's just all mixed together. So it really is just like the strengths of everything. And I think wasn't it like Bruce Lee or somebody like that actually kind of started that idea because he had created his own martial art that was mixed from a bunch of different stuff, and then it came. I mean, don't quote me on that. This is just something I've seen, but
Yeah.
that it kind of like that idea started there, and then that's where it's kind of went now.
So yeah, Bruce Lee was like he had his style of like a little bit of everything, right?
Yeah.
But it's funny, but the UFC started with the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So
Yes.
the Gracie family started the UFC like 25 years
Yeah,
ago.
when it first started. Yeah.
They started the UFC, and they were so good in jiu-jitsu that they would have beat the
Yeah.
boxers, the wrestlers, because they knew something that was new and they created it and nobody knew.
Yeah.
Right? So now jiu-jitsu is so big here in America because the
I mean,
American...
everywhere in the world.
It's funny because you guys said, all right, we don't know jiu-jitsu, so come here, Brazilians. We're going to pay you guys. We're going to learn that.
Yeah.
And everybody... Now,
I mean, yeah,
everybody's so good in
it's
jiu-jitsu
the most
here
important
too.
thing, right? It's
It
just
is.
like almost some guys go in there with no stand-up, but they know jiu-jitsu and they get you on the floor. I mean, I did watch one of the fights the other night, watching the UFC, and the guy just went straight for the legs and tapped the dude out. I think it was BJ Penn.
BJ
that
Penn,
got submitted, but it was really crazy how that dude. I don't know the guy's name. What was the guy's name that won?
I don't know his name either, but I
But the way he won, man, I was blown away. Like it was fast.
especially to beat a guy like BJ Penn.
Yeah, and he's
one
amazing.
of the greatest ever.
For
Yeah,
sure.
But today's it's so hard to tell who is gonna win a fight.
Yeah, yeah.
Because like everybody's so good and like so strong, like everybody's so strong in every little thing. You know?
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But so okay, UFC aside, what other goals do you have? Like, you know what was crazy that was blowing me away last time when we were tattooing you, is how like, because I reference movies all the time. Like I'm such a dork, I'm a nerd, you know, and you know I would say this quote from a movie or ask you about this movie, but you've never seen them. It's really interesting to me that you have went. I mean, you pretty much everything has been about jiu-jitsu, like, you know, and it's such a cool thing to think about that, like, the reason you are who you are and where you've went is because that's what you focused on most of your life. Like, you haven't wasted time doing other bullshit that other people do, right? Like, isn't that true?
But you know what's funny? Like, I didn't have TV growing up.
Yeah.
I didn't have air conditioning.
Yeah,
You
throw
know,
your
like
TV out.
yeah, I'm a jungle kid. So like my first time in Disneyland, I was like, what is that? I don't even know what
Yeah.
that is. And I was
Yeah.
like 22 years old.
Wow.
You
Have
know?
you been since?
Yeah, I've been
Okay.
to Disneyland a couple of times, and actually, I'm taking my parents out there tomorrow.
Wow.
And my mother is 72 years old.
Very
my father
cool.
is 71, and they going to Disneyland for the first time.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Aw.
I'm so happy, you
Yeah,
know,
that's
like
great.
yeah, it's been a dream. I always wanted to take them there and like see them experience that
Yeah.
because like
Yeah.
It's
Are you taking your
amazing.
sister as well?
yeah, my
Oh,
sister
amazing.
is here also with my niece. My niece
Okay.
is 11 years old.
Oh,
you know?
she's gonna love it.
Yeah.
Oh man, you're the coolest fan ever.
Yeah.
That's fucking
I wish I
badass.
had that opportunity when
Yeah.
I was 11 years old, you know?
But it's even better that you get to give it to somebody.
Yeah.
You know, and you give something special. I mean, you're changing their lives, which I'm sure, you know, your mom now appreciates, I'm sure, for sure. I mean, she probably, you know, I know my dad's from Mexico, you know, and, you know, it's a different thought process. Like, it's like the old country, you know, it's their old mentality. And, you know, he has changed a lot, but, you know, things aren't given out. Like, you know, any kind of like, how would you say when you give out just like saying you're, you know, they're proud of you. Like that doesn't come easy.
Yeah,
you know?
the accolades don't
Yeah.
really. Yeah, they.
You know, and I feel like that's what makes people like yourself and myself work so hard is we're looking for that validation. We want them to be like, "Oh, we're proud of you."
Yeah.
But it's so hard and it doesn't come and you're like, "Fuck, man."
It's so
You
hard,
know?
especially like if they from Mexico or
yeah.
like Brazil, like traditional families, you know.
Yeah.
But that's what keep us motivated,
For sure.
you know, like
The crazy thing, let me ask you this. So, you know, I work really hard because I watch my dad work so hard. Like, he came to America and he worked his ass off, you know what I mean? And I've just watched him work so hard that it motivated me. And I've always compared myself, I guess, to him a little bit. Where, like, if I got tired or something, I'm like, no, you know what? He would keep going. Like, do you ever think like that with your parents? I'm sure you watched your parents work really hard. And so, you know, yeah.
yeah, so like one of the things that I'm very thankful for what they did to me, it's because in Brazil you have to go to private school. If you go to public school, you're not gonna make it.
Yeah.
You know, it's the
Yeah.
public school in Brazil sucks.
Yeah.
So my parents didn't have a lot of money,
Yeah.
and they had 4 kids, right? And but my parents had something on them that they would have to work their ass off
Yeah.
to have us on private school. So I'm very, very thankful for that.
Yeah.
You know, the first thing when I did when I made my first big money
Yeah.
was to buy my mom a house. I
Wow.
bought her a house,
That's
and I was
amazing.
like, I'm so thankful for the education.
Wow.
Even though you were so hard on me because you didn't accept the way I was, I'm so happy for the education that you gave me, for the drive you gave me, and I would watch her work so hard to give us a
better
good
life.
education.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
that was her main goal. You know, and my motivation by that time when I was like 17, 18 years old was to make shit happen so I could be thankful and
Yeah.
give them back because
sure.
I know they did a lot to me. You know.
That's great, man. Man, the more I talk to you, man, the more I'm impressed. That's crazy that, like, you know, I mean, that's a dream of people. You know, I think a lot of people want to give back to their families and stuff like that. So, yeah, man, that's awesome. Congratulations. Like, I'm impressed.
But it's good. You know, I'm sure you do a lot for your kids, for you
Yeah.
like people that you love, you know, and that's what drive us, you know.
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
being good, becoming better, doing for people that you love.
yeah, and that's the whole thing is like the drive, right? Like, you have to have it can't be just about you. It's about so many more people that push you and the people you love, like you said, you know. And so, yeah, the cool thing about this podcast, you know, is that, like, the listeners are going to be people that probably aren't so familiar with the UFC. So a cool thing I wanted to ask you about, you know, because you made it from, you know, Brazil in the middle of nowhere, and then you came to America and you fought in the UFC, and, you know, you continue to fight in the UFC. And I watch you train, and it's like insane, like watching your Instagram, because you're like a robot. And I just wanted to ask you, like, what kind of advice do you give people that, and it's not just about like training or fighting, it could be about, you know, business or art, or, you know, if you want to be an actor, like, and you're in the middle of nowhere, like, what do you think it takes, or what would you give them advice on how to do that, or what you need to do, like how you have to think?
I think first of all, you have to be a dreamer. You know, you have to choose something and go for it. You
Yeah.
gotta have a goal. There is no succeed if you don't know where you're going. If you don't know the direction you're going. So if you know you're going, where you're going, and where you want to be, just keep going. It's
Yeah.
gonna be hard. It's not gonna be easy, but you gotta keep pushing through, and you're gonna find a lot of hard times in your life, like I did, like you did.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of us that succeed in life, we work so hard, and sometimes we want to give up, but if you know what you want, you gotta keep pushing, keep going, and that's what I did my entire life. And I still do. I work so hard.
I see it.
I
I mean,
work-
you're still young, so, you know, you still have so much further to go and so many more things to do, and I'm sure your life is going to be really interesting. You're a dreamer. I'm a dreamer for sure. I say that about myself all the time.
Yeah, I'm a dreamer.
You know, and yeah, I know that my story is just starting. I'm sure, I feel like, with the things I want to do, you know, and yeah, I just wanted to ask that with motivation, because obviously you're a motivational person, and maybe people don't get to hear your words as much, or the way you think. And I think that that's the common ground between people that have done something that most can't, is that we think alike. Like, even though you're doing MMA and Jiu Jitsu and you're in the UFC and I'm doing tattoos, you know, our mind frame and the way we think and work is really the same, you know, and so that's what's important.
Yeah, that's what like when I realized that I was getting tattooed by you, it was like, dude, I know I'm gonna get a great piece of art in my body, but the most important thing is to meet the person, because I love meeting. If you're a great tattoo artist, you're a great person. You know, I don't think it separates, you know, the person from the artist.
Yeah.
So I wanted to know like who you are, what drives you, who made you be that great artist, and what made you like get where you are today. And like I wasn't only excited for the piece of art. I was excited to meet the person and see like how this guy does this. It's incredible. Like, yeah.
No, thanks. I appreciate that. You know, it's funny because when I look from the outside, the inside out, I don't see that. You know, I just think I still live in a small town, you know, and, you know, I travel and stuff, but I do have to reflect sometimes on my past and think about, I mean, at one time I used to just want to make, I don't know, $200 a day tattooing, you know, and I remember I was thinking, man, if I could do that, I'll be happy and I'll be able to make my life and make a living. You know, it was like $1,000 a week, 5 days a week. And, you know, it's been way beyond that now with the things I've done. And it's just interesting to see that happen, you know, and to look back upon that, you know, it's just, I'm just a driven person, the same as you. So I think that's what the coolest thing about doing this podcast is, you know, being able to reach people. And I mean, there's going to be young kids that listen to this or people that are interested in just MMA or tattoo art. And they're going to find out that it's just hard work and dedication that you need to have in order to get to where you want. I mean, success is just, you know, whatever you want it to be. Like, you don't have to have money or be somewhere well known but your dreams is what makes you successful. So if your dream is just to sit on the couch and hang out and you do it, then you're fucking successful.
Killing
you know?
it.
Yeah. You know, but yes.
So when you started training, there were no other women in the industry. And I'm sure, you know, even your parents were like, what? You're going to just go beat people up and that's what you're going to do for a living? And now when you see the MMA and you see how many women fighters are in the industry, like, how does that make you feel that you were one of the pioneers to do that?
That's actually something that makes me feel very good, because like you said, I am one of the pioneers, and that's how I feel, because when I moved to Rio, there was no women on the sport. Maybe in the whole country, 5 to 10 girls were training.
Wow.
You know, and but I said that's what I want to do, so I'm gonna be part of the progression of the sport, right? And a show called Invicta. It's like the UFC.
Okay.
It's an organization, but only for girls.
Okay.
Right? They started doing the shows in like maybe 6 years ago, and I was one of the fighters that they wanted, and it was in America. I was like, wow. That's when I realized that I finally made it, because I had a job, right? I was gonna fight for our organization.
Yeah.
And but I remember a lot of people in Brazil saying that, oh, this is not gonna work out. It's only for girls, you know. It's not gonna. They're gonna go out of business like very, very soon. And I was like, no, motherfuckers, we're gonna make it happen.
Yeah,
because
I
like,
get it.
dude, like, I remember that I worked as much as hard as Jose Aldo and the other 16 fighters that we had in the gym.
Yeah.
I worked just as hard as all the other guys training in there to make it to the UFC one day. So why we not gonna make it if we still like doing the same thing with the same drive and training just as hard? And that was my motivation. I knew if I did the same thing they were doing, I was gonna make it just the way they did.
Yeah.
You know, so it was hard in the beginning, especially like from where I'm from. People judge me and say, why is she doing that? You know?
Yeah.
And one of my sisters is a registered nurse.
Oh, yeah.
The other one is accounting.
Okay.
And I am an MMA fighter, right?
Yeah, that's
and
right.
we were like, what is she
Yeah, but
doing?
you were showing me one of your sisters. She's like a badass. The one that was here. She's like isn't she like a
Bodybuilder?
fitness? Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
She's like super fit and like ripped, man. I was like, wow, dude. She's just as ripped as you. That's crazy.
Yeah, but like it's funny because she didn't work out her entire life. She just started like 4 years ago,
Yeah.
and 2 years ago she got really ripped, and she has six packs
Yeah.
and she's like pretty. So, she got motivated by me
Yeah, that's
seeing me
good, though.
working out.
But that's life, though, right? Like you infect others around you.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
what they
great.
say, right? That
Yeah.
you are the average of the 20 people around you.
Yeah,
right?
well, I
Some
said
people
the
that say
5.
five.
Yeah, but that's what I was told. But you're true, though. You know what I mean? It's true. You're the average of who's around you.
Maybe you only have 5 around you.
Maybe only 5. I keep it small.
Yeah, small and straight.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Were you prepared to fight dudes? Like if you were getting into this industry and like no women showed up and it was just you, were you prepared to like throw down like with men?
Yeah, if you had to fight men professionally, is that what you, in your mind, you had to have made that decision at some point?
yeah, I was like, if I had to, I will. You know, and if you Google, you're gonna
Yeah?
see me like I did a.
Yeah, let's see.
So back in the day, like that show in Brazil actually helped me a lot because it's like a comedy show in Brazil that the reporters, they would go to the street and make fun of people.
Yeah.
And people would get mad at them.
Yep.
So they were like, okay, so now we have this MMA fighter coming up, and we can bring her in and make her beat up the guys.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, you guys paying me? They were like, yeah. I was like, I'll do it.
Your job is
I'll
to
do
beat.
it.
Yeah, I'm gonna beat
I'll
up
do
dudes
it.
for money. Okay,
I'll do it. Well, I'll do it. And then, so I went to that comedy show and I beat 8 of the guys. Like they set up the octagon and they were like, okay, you're fighting this. So they would tell the guys that they were fighting an MMA fighter.
Yeah.
But they wouldn't believe that a
Yeah.
girl would beat them up. And
For
I
sure.
did.
And
And
you
if you
did?
watch.
Let's see. What's this video? Let's check this video out.
So
What would we type in? How would we find this?
So my name and then do PANI Panico, yeah. Go to the third one.
This one.
Yeah. It's old, but like people
it this way?
they started recognizing me because of this.
Yeah, let's see this.
They were like, "Oh my god, this girl is really like
Wow, dude, you're
the
fucking
guys-
this dude up. This dude's scared as
Yeah.
fuck.
So the guys, they don't know nothing about fighting, right? And I trained jiu-jitsu for probably like 5 years
He's
by
so
that time.
scared. He's so scared.
And I was just starting training stand-up.
Wow,
And
you're
I
like
was-
a lion.
But you're so unassuming too. You know, you're like
Yeah.
this pretty girl. Like you're not like super tall and big. And they step in the ring with
Look at
you.
this. It's about the technique.
Wow.
Look at this. He grabbed the fence.
Wow. Oh man, you're fucking this dude up.
Yeah, this dude's
Damn,
panicking
look
right
at this
now.
guy. I'd be panicking too.
So that was kind of crazy, but people started
He's
recognizing
panicking.
me
Yeah, yeah,
in there,
yeah.
and they were like, "Okay, now we want to see her fighting," and then they started to train other girls to fight me. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
that's how the thing started
Wow. And
growing.
Done.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Oh, look
back.
at that
He's-
face.
he's bummed,
He's
dude.
bummed.
He's bummed. Oh, is he asleep?
Yeah. He's
Oh,
left.
fuck.
Look.
Oh man, I can't even laugh because I couldn't even do that. I wouldn't even want to step. But you know what?
Worst day ever
He
for that
fucked
dude.
up by stepping in there. He
Right?
fucked up. Yeah, look at him,
Oh,
huh?
he is fucked
What?
up.
What? Oh damn, that's crazy. That's so badass.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
so cool.
So I had to do crazy shit like that.
Yeah.
So people.
Were
to to
were
respect
people
me.
like, dude? Did people doubt you? Like they were like, how are you gonna step in the ring with a man?
Yeah,
Yeah?
they would. I was like, I'm going to, man.
Wow,
You
man,
see-
that's cool. So I mean, so with everything you've done, you know, you've come so far and you've done all these things, you know, what do you see next for you? I mean, the last time I tattooed you, what was really cool is we tattooed you for 2 days. You were super sick, which is hard for people to sit 2 days anyways. And dude, you were, I mean, sick. Like I was like, wow, she's fucking sick. And you sat and you had a good attitude and you made it through. And you know, I always I deal with a lot of different, you know, celebrities or people that are well known in their community of what they do, or, you know, athletes. And it's always funny to me because I can always judge a person's mental strength by how much they can sit there, because it really is a mental game to get tattooed.
Oh, for sure.
And so for you to be able to sit there 2 days, sick as fuck, and be able to handle it and have a good attitude, it really shows how mentally strong you are. And I can give you that, you know? So I think that I wonder what's next for you. Like, what are your dreams? What are your hopes? Where do you see yourself going from here? You know, I know that you just had a fight, I'm pretty sure that you have fights coming up, and just wondering what are your aspirations? Like, where do you see yourself in the next coming years?
So I'm 30 years old, right?
Yes.
I'm in the business for 12 years. It's a long time, especially like because I started in Brazil and I got my body beat up so much. So now I'm taking care of my body a little more and learning more about myself and becoming a better athlete every day.
Yeah.
You know, I'm one of the best female fighters out there.
Yeah.
I'm 100% sure that.
For sure.
I was the number one strawweight in the world for 10 years, right? And I think this setback with the thing moving from Brazil to New Jersey to Albuquerque and now to Vegas, it made me lose a couple fights, right? I went 11-0, didn't lose to anybody, and then I lost a split decision to the one of the greatest fighters ever, Joanna Jędrzejczyk. She's a Polish fighter. She was the strawweight champion for a while now. Rose Namajunas took her belt, right? But I lost a split decision fight for her, and like 90% of the people that watched that fight, they gave the fight to me. So, and I really think I won that fight. And I went back to Brazil when I lost that fight, and I was like, dude, I'm not gonna let myself be depressed and give up on my dream. But it really sucked and hurt. And hurt. But that's what makes you grow. When you lose, that's where you learn. You know, I always say you either win or you learn.
Well, I mean, the reality is, like,
that's a good way to look
you
at
know,
it.
you a lot of great people in life lose. You know, they always lose. And, you know, I listen to like audiobooks and things like that. And, you know, they do talk about that. They talk about, like, you have to have losses to learn. And so you have to find value inside of those losses. You know, it's the same for, art. I mean, it's not as competitive. It's like not a competitive sport, but definitely you do lose, you know, and it's just not as grand, or I don't have to show, which I give you so much credit for because you're standing on a world stage. You know, it seems really crazy because you have to get judged for that. Like, it's so crazy because, you know, you have all these people that are like, you know, talking shit online or whatever they have to say, but it's like none of these people have ever done or stepped into a place that you have. You know what I mean? Like, it takes guts. You know, I mean, you fought men when people, a lot of people wouldn't do that. You know what I mean? And
I'm sure a lot of people thought that it was a joke too. Like when you got in there, it was like, oh yeah, put a girl in there. That'll be fun, and then we'll get the ratings.
But like you, right? Like a lot of people are sitting in the couch and they'll go, oh, she didn't work hard enough. Dude, you have no idea.
No, I can watch
what a fighter has to do through 8 to 12 weeks to get inside that octagon. It's crazy. It's insane. The training you have to do, the diet, like the mental part. It's like, I think the mental part is 70% of the game. You know, if your mind is good, then you're gonna do good. If not, you're not gonna do good. And I think that all the changing in my life in the last 2 years made me like experience a lot of stuff, but then I'm like, well, what should I do? What's right for me? You know, it's hard now because I'm my own boss, and I take the decisions of who is going to help me. And by changing and moving so much, I think that kind of like messed me up a little bit. Now that I'm in Vegas for almost a year, and I feel like I have to get the right people to help me out. And I know I have all the tools to beat the girls that are in top. I'm number 5, ranked number 5 now. That's crazy. And I know I have all the tools to beat all the girls in there. And my motivation for 2019 is to get that belt. I don't care if I lost my last fight.
You're gonna get it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
like
believe in you.
I know I have everything, and I just need to figure out who's gonna help me and how things are gonna be done to
For
get
sure.
there. Because remember again, like when you're in the highest level, it's like it's between 9 and 10.
Yeah.
You need 1 point to be
Yeah.
10,
Or not
and
even that. It
the
could be
little
just 0.01. Like that
yeah, the
little
little
change, that little
detail
detail.
that's
Yeah.
gonna, because it's the highest level.
Yeah.
Everybody's so good in there.
Yep.
And like I do have all the tools, but now it's figuring
Yeah.
out what's the point
Yeah.
that we need to be in the top.
Yeah. I mean, the strategy, right? You have to have strategy and the right team and everything. I'm for sure like those little things change 1 degree, you know?
It changes a lot.
Can I ask what goes through your mind when you're about ready to fight and you actually step into that ring and you see that other person that you are going to go to battle with? Like, where does your mind go through all that training? Do you black out, or is it just technical? Is it anger? Is it joy?
It's funny because a lot of people think it's like a kill mindset, you know, but it's not. You prepare yourself like the other person did, you know, to go out there and fight each other for 15 minutes. There's a lot of things involved: cardio, strength, technique, Muay Thai, kickboxing, Jiu Jitsu, wrestling. It's so many things, so many little things that you have to think about it and keep in mind, so you don't make a mistake. You know, like, of course I want to beat the person. I want to finish the fight, but there's like so many little things that you have to keep in mind. And
Yeah.
again, strategy wise.
Yeah. So
beat
so
the
when you go
person.
into the fight, are you like planned out like as far as in your head, like I'm gonna go in there and I'm gonna throw, this punch, this kick, or I'm just gonna take him to the ground? Like you're already planning out the way you see the fight going from the start. Do you ever think about that kind of stuff?
Yeah, yeah. That's how it has to be today. Like back in the day, we would be just like
Two animals.
pit bulls, go, you know. But
Yeah.
today days, if you do that, you're gonna make a mistake,
Yeah.
and the person in front of you, they know everything
Yeah.
you do. They know who you are. They study you. They train for
Yeah.
you for 12 weeks.
Yeah,
so
they're
they
your
know
best
you.
friend for 12 weeks.
They know you.
everything.
Yeah, they
that's
know,
crazy.
and I know what she's gonna do too. But now, when, of course, there's times in the fights that the heart, the drive, it's gonna be in there.
Yeah.
But you're thinking about the technique, because if you blink your eyes, you're gonna get punched in the face, and you can
Yeah.
get kicked in the face, and you can get knocked out. So you really have to think about the strategy and keep yourself in there, because that happened to me before also. Like, I got disconnected in a fight, and I'm like thinking about other stuff, and I see I'm losing the fight, and I don't even know what's happening. So like, the mental part, being there, being present in the moment, it's very, very important.
Yeah, I can only imagine, like, having to not even stray mentally. Like, you train so much physically, but then once you're in that ring, that mental focus is what is going to make or break the situation.
Yeah, I have a friend from Brazil that he's a great fighter. He should be in the UFC today, but he lost so many fights because he had a girlfriend
Yeah.
that would break up with him in every fight week.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, a mental game
oh,
is
not
huge.
a boyfriend, a girlfriend.
Oh yeah, a girlfriend. But a mental game is huge. I mean, that really. I mean, I watch it within our community of tattoo artists, and I see people that are really great artists, and they're coming up, or they've made it to a place where they have a shop and they're making good money and they're world renowned. And they'll get the wrong people in their life. And I'm guilty of it too. Like, I've had the wrong people around me, and it'll take away from your life. Like, if you're not careful, the wrong people will come in and suck the life out of you or fuck your mind all
Yeah.
up. So you got to be aware of those people, man. It's really crazy.
So, like, as a tattoo artist, what do you have to do to, like, keep getting better?
For me, I listen to audiobooks. It's something that I never really did. I'm not a big reader. So, like, it's hard for me to sit there and read, like, a book. I feel like I'm kind of ADD, where, like, I start thinking about other things. But if I can tattoo and then put a pair of headphones on and listen to an audiobook, it really helps me out. So I really think that with every degree of life, so you were asking me, you were challenging me to the exercise thing. It's something that I didn't do. I sacrificed my health and my body for the first, 12 years of my career tattooing. I just tattooed. That's all I did. That's all I wanted to do. I would eat shit. Nothing was planned out. And I really sacrificed my health. And so with every level I go to, every different place I want to get to, I have to change something within myself. Because sometimes it isn't only about the artistic ability. It's more like I exercise for the clarity of my mind. You know, I exercise so that way I'm better for you when I tattoo you, and I can think clearer and I can make better decisions. And it really sets the pace to my day. So if I don't exercise that day, I feel like shit. But also, like, if people knew me from the past, you know, I would go to conventions and I'd get trashed, dude. I'd get fucked up. I'd drink. You know, I'd show up to the next day of the convention. You know, I'd be hungover. And me and my friends would be out. And it was an amazing time. Like, it's, for my life, it was amazing. I had a great time. But now, you know, that isn't for me. You know, I make choices not to drink. You know, I'll drink here and there, very, very seldom. And I don't do drugs. And so I really try to focus on my mental health and my health and whatever makes me feel good, like as far as like what's good for me, that's what I do. I try not to waste time on like people that just don't deserve the time. And I try to do positive things like this. Like, this kind of stuff's inspiring to me because just meeting you, the conversations we had last time, it's interesting to hear your story, you know, to hear a woman that's come from a place where maybe women aren't as respected and then do something that's so breaking the rules, and then to be here, like, to me, that's like, dude, it's inspiring. So I'm super thankful for you to even talk to us on this and, like, you know, give us a little bit of your heart. But, you know, it's easy to talk to you. So I had great conversation last time. It was amazing. So I'd like to give you an opportunity to say, you know, what do you have coming up, or any fights scheduled, or, you know, anything you're looking out for? I mean, I know you shot that commercial, so. Yeah.
So right now I'm taking a little bit of time for myself, enjoy my family a little bit.
For sure.
And I want to, like I said, I moved to Vegas a year ago, and I'm trying to figure out who are the people helping me from now on, because I have a goal and I gotta be priority for my coaches. If I can't be their priority, then they don't deserve to work with me. That's the way I see it, because I'm in the highest level and I need the best people out there to help me out, you know. So I'm concentrating on that now. I'm finding the right people to help me out and to get back in the octagon soon. Maybe April I'll get back
That's
in
fast.
the octagon.
That's not that much time off.
I was like, damn, okay.
But I'm spending a little bit of time with my family now that I don't see for a year.
For sure.
I don't go to my country for a year also because I was waiting for my green card. And so now I'm going to go to Brazil.
Yes.
I'm going to enjoy this summer a little bit. Just
Amazing.
a couple of days, because I don't like vacation. I like to work hard. And I'm going to get back to Vegas, see the people that it's going to help me out, and get back in the octagon as soon as possible.
Yeah, badass.
Awesome. Well, you're gonna get tattooed today by Nikko. What are you? Can you describe the meaning of the tattoo that you're gonna get today?
Okay, so I'm indigenous, right? My family, my mother part of the family, it's a Native Indian, not American Indian.
Yeah.
And I wanted to get my mother's face with the Indian first, but then I changed my mind because we talked about this. I think we look so much for acceptance from our family that we do like a lot more than we can just to see them being proud of us. Mm-hmm. So I'm in the time of my life where I did a lot for my family. I still do a lot for my family, but I don't want to do just for them to accept me, you know. But so the Indian in my arm, it's because of my family, right? We're indigenous, and we decided to add birds in there, so it's like a protected warrior.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, so we're going to tattoo her today, and I'm sorry to take your time, but thank you for doing this.
It was a pleasure to meet you. Thank you very much.
That was a pleasure for me also. Yeah. Thank you, guys.
And don't beat me up. I'm going to do my best today.
All right, you better.
All right, bye. Badass.